Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Guess what I just did? Yeah, what's going on? It's wrestling warm up here on WrestlingRumors.net. We're joining you live via our different areas of the world. Of course, mine being here in the beautiful state of South Carolina, where Clemson football is about to start back, and of course, college football everywhere and NFL football everywhere. How about shout out to my boys Sammy Watkins and CJ Spiller for their performance the other night in the few downs that they actually played for the Buffalo Bills in the pullout against the Carolina Panthers. We also have joining us from the New England side of things, Mr. John Alba. What's happening, sir?
I'm not in New England yet.
You're over
not in New England yet. Northeast, yes.
Northeast, it's all the same.
But I'm back from Canada, man. I caught up with the next guy you're going to announce, and we had a few brewskis and good stuff, man.
Yeah, our resident Canadian, Mr. Chris Walter. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, you want some promotion here, Alba?
There you go.
Check out the album.
Hey, look.
But now Alba got me a beer, so now Alex and Doug, you guys are on the hook.
We can do it.
I can't do that. Nope.
I'll
buy you a water.
Can't do that yet.
Thanks, buddy.
I'll buy you a nice pop. How about that? Do you call it pop or?
They call it pop.
We call it nature's poison.
It is nature's poison. That's exactly correct. Alex B. Song, what's going on, brother? Good to see you.
You buried, who's it? Martavius Bryant for the Steelers. He's a Clemson boy, isn't he?
I didn't bury him. I just didn't mention him. He didn't get a lot of play time during the preseason game the other day. I'm a Steelers fan.
Okay, it's good. Good. Oh, good. Look at that. Right on cue.
I am a Steelers fan. You can't. I didn't bury anybody. I just didn't mention him yet. But good that you know that Bryant went up there. Very good wide receiver. Let's stop talking about football, which is God's sport. Let's stop talking about that. Let's get into wrestling, since this is what this
God's Sports Entertainment
program is about. Hey, God has wrestled for WWE on occasion.
This is valid.
He got an entrance, right? Okay.
God and Big, two of WWE's most underrated superstars.
I agree. God did he got an entrance.
The streak lives.
The streak does live. Let's talk about SummerSlam coming up. This is the go-home show tonight here. It's August 11th. Monday Night Raw goes live in 2 hours, or an hour and a half. The pre-show goes live in an hour. We got 3 hours to fill. Guys, over the last 4 weeks that we've had between Battleground, which was a crap show, Battleground and this Monday Night Raw, we've seen a lot of crap TV. TV had gotten progressively better. We were talking about this before we went live. TV had gotten progressively better from June 1st to July 20th. We had 2 months in the summer months where Raw and SmackDown was very good. Over the last few weeks, I would say that SmackDown overall, no matter if you read the spoilers or not, and it's probably because it's only a 2-hour show, but SmackDown, if you actually watched it, is a better show, and on Raw, we're just getting recaps of what we saw on SmackDown. But between June and July, or between June and July 20th, we actually had really good TVs on Monday nights. They were good to watch. They were entertaining for 3 hours. I didn't feel like I was just being drugged through the proverbial mud. But the last 4 weeks, I have hated my life, and especially the last 2 Mondays, I have wanted to. I mean, I've made memes left and right during the show. I have balanced checkbooks. I have done numerous menial tasks just to stay awake because the programs have not been that great. 2 weeks of putting Brie Bella, who's terrible on the microphone, with Stephanie McMahon in the main event segments. And Heath Slater main evented the last match this past Monday night and won, which I think was honestly the best segment of the night. But that was all on Dean Ambrose. That wasn't on Heath Slater and Seth Rollins. So, again, I'm not too excited about the program tonight outside of the fact that we will be seeing the return of the NWO.
Oh,
and I'm excited about that. What are you guys actually excited for tonight, if anything?
Hogan is getting older. I mean, I don't know. Look, I reported earlier that LeBron James is going to be making an appearance in some sort of video, sending out prepackaged stuff, and I'm an NBA writer, so I got to show some love. Shaq's going to be on it too. But when your biggest selling point for the Go Home Raw, or for the Go Home show for SummerSlam on Sunday is like a birthday party for a guy who's not even booked for the pay-per-view, like, what are you even doing? I know Cena and Lesnar are going to be there tonight.
Well,
Finally, for the first time in this whole build to their main event match at SummerSlam, they're actually going to interact. So that's going to be cool. But at the same time, the only thing that really matters tonight, or that they're hyping up, is Hogan's birthday.
if they were smart, they'd use Hogan's birthday to push something.
Correct.
They would turn that
need
into
to.
Hogan's involvement in a match, supporting some kind of babyface.
The week before SummerSlam?
Look, you know what? On the fly booking, man. We've seen this happen tons of
Literally.
times. But you mentioned the Bella McMahon segment, Doug, and I've talked to you guys privately about this, and I want to comment on it here. This is not something that necessarily should have been a bad program, because if WWE, we heard these reports of them having heat on Brie Bella, which to me makes no sense because they're the ones letting Brie talk. Stephanie McMahon's one of the best heels in the company right now. There's no
If not
reason
the
that
best.
there's no reason. I mean, I still think Paul Heyman's the best, but even so, they very well could have just had Stephanie McMahon talking this entire time, and that's how the crowd gets behind Brie. She's got no voice like I do right now, and you stick behind her. I mean, that's how I'd book it, but I guess they chose not to. But they can't put the blame on Brie on that.
But you could have easily booked Brie with some excellent nonverbals. I mean, the slap that we saw at Payback was an excellent nonverbal.
The bitch line was fine.
The bitch line the first time was
the
fine,
first
but
time,
now
the
that
first
she's
time.
repeated it over and over again, it's getting really hard to buy into her, because that's her. It's kind of like how Roman Reigns, when Roman Reigns and the Shield split for a bit. I'm still not convinced Roman Reigns has what it takes in the microphone, because he stays to using ass, bitch, damn, some kind of PG-13-esque attitude line to get his point across and to get over, to get a response. That's the only way that he does get over. You know how bitch being used in a good part of the show, especially this past Monday night, or actually was it this past Monday night? It was the Monday before that with John Cena. Who I thought John Cena gave one of the best promos he had done in a very long time. It felt emotional. It felt real. Talking back and forth with Paul Heyman, and to close it out very emphatically, saying, "I'm gonna leave the arena with this some bitch." Like, there you go. Throw an Attitude Era line in there. Throw some some meat and some emotion behind it, and it made it feel good. You could argue the same thing. I've seen so many memes since this past Monday when they showed the UFC-style video, which I have to give Lesnar some credit for. Again, we talked about it on this program last Monday night before the show went live. There's no way that Lesnar didn't have bullet points or something to read off of. He didn't just sit down. They said, okay, speak on this, and he goes nuts on it. No, he had some kind of direction in what he was talking about, and it proved. And I thought that what Lesnar came up with verbally was very impactful as far as how the video presentation was. I didn't think that we needed to see the video 2.5 daggum times during the show, but one time would have been enough. Take up a 7-minute segment and deal with it. But again, they have 3 hours. They want to try to get across that this is a big match, and I think that we see that video package tonight in the first hour before we get to actually seeing Lesnar and Cena confront each other on the show. So you'll have a chance to hear Lesnar one more time on Raw, at least, to say that he's going to leave Cena in a pool of blood, urine, and vomit, which is pretty funny and pretty impactful. But we do get Lesnar and Cena tonight. What do we think happens here? In my opinion, if they don't have a throw-out brawl to close the show out to make this match feel so freaking huge, with someone getting bloody, like a real fight like we got in 2012, this is a waste. Your thoughts?
But they've done that before.
I know, and that's why you can't. That's why you have to do it here. You just highlighted that match and the build-up to that match, and on a WWE Network exclusive all week last week. They showed the Extreme Rules build and the Extreme Rules match over and over again. Tell me, like, why would they not do this again? It worked so great the first time, And for me, it's like if they don't do it, this seems a little less emotionally invested than it did in 2012.
I wouldn't have Cena attack Lesnar in the same way that he did last time, because the reason they brawled last time was because...
I didn't say he has to attack him.
I know.
Brawl to end the show.
I know, I'm just saying. I wouldn't have Cena attack him like he did, because basically Cena attacked Lesnar last time, because Lesnar embarrassed him, made it personal. With this, I would have Lesnar be the one. They have their verbal/visual confrontation, and then Lesnar just bam.
And it also can't break down into like a pure six brawl like it did last time, because you were setting up an Extreme Rules match, and at SummerSlam it's just going to be a one-on-one match. You don't want these two to like bloody each other up 1 week before SummerSlam when that rule isn't in place. So I think what you do tonight is you just have Lesnar lay out
for now it's not.
With like an F5. They're not going to do it. They're not going to announce it at SummerSlam. I can guarantee you that's not going to happen.
That the rumors throughout the rumor mill is that a stipulation may be put on this match. So.
No, that's not happening. Because they want to kind of keep the belief alive that Lesnar could actually lose this by disqualification, because there's so many questions around him being able to hold the belt for a prolonged period of time. I think you need to keep it just a straightforward catch-as-catch-can wrestling match.
I don't know. Having a disqualification in there leaves very few things creatively for them to do.
Pisses a lot of people off.
Because no disqualification is literally the same thing as Extreme Rules. And they hyped up their last match as like this brutal Extreme Rules match. So at SummerSlam, you're just going to say, well, the night of, we're just going to take away disqualifications. Like, that's just pathetic.
Who said it has to be the night of?
I'm about to say it could be tonight. I mean, you don't know what you're going to get tonight.
I don't think they're going to announce it.
The biggest thing for me is, I mean, that's the reason they have all these different names for the same style of match.
No holds barred.
No holds barred, no disqualification, Extreme Rule. They're all the same thing.
I would have Lesnar say how he's going to break Cena's arm today. That's a really good way I would go about doing this.
I mean, you need to have them do a one-on-one with each other, verbally going back and forth, getting intense. Lesnar bringing up the fact that he broke Triple H's arm, that he broke dislocated Mark Henry's elbow, that he broke Shawn Michaels' arm and John Cena's next. Like, he ended the streak and made The Undertaker collapse and go to the hospital. Stuff that we've already heard.
Heyman do that too.
Right, stuff that we've already heard Paul Heyman say. That kind of thing. And as far as I'm concerned, talk about Paul Heyman, John, I would say he's the second best heel, because he's also in this new dichotomy of WWE Universe. He's a very well loved personality.
Maybe I'm just on the high from watching the DVD.
But I watched the DVD on Friday,
awesome.
and it's very awesome. At the same time, coming off that DVD, I'm like, God, I love Paul Heyman.
Well, right, exactly.
But it's one of those things where you're like, I love Paul Heyman. Stephanie McMahon has heat, but when Paul Heyman comes out, he gets cheers. Okay, he gets the cheers. The dichotomy, as Jim Ross talked about in an article today on Fox Sports, he talks about the dichotomy between John Cena's fans, where they boo and they cheer at the same time. The same thing happens for Paul Heyman. For Stephanie McMahon, no one's cheering for her. It's an intense amount of heat on top of her right now, like her father had. She knows how to get that from the audience, and I think that she is quite possibly the greatest heel in the company right now. When she got that microphone on Monday night and didn't say a word and had the entire audience at that arena just coming down with her with the fire of hell. I mean, just booing her out of the building before she said a word.
All the pedigrees too.
And the pedigrees were great. I think she's the greatest heel they have. But Paul Heyman always, of course, is, and Jim Ross on the DVD even calls him the greatest auditor in the business, the auditory guy. He is the best speaker, if you will, in the company, and we're going to get to see that tonight. I'm excited about that. We also, as we briefly hit on, the reason I am in black and white is because the NWO is going to return this evening in a manner of a birthday celebration for the real American himself, the immortal Hulk Hogan, who turned 61 today. Let's talk about the fact that what segment do you think this goes on at?
10 o'clock.
You think this is the opening segment, or the 10 o'clock segment, or the last thing that we see?
10 o'clock.
I could even still see it go on at 9, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
with the way the hour ratings go now, you have to try and get the third hour to close better than it has in the past, though.
I think you open with Brie and Stephanie. Second hour, you go with Hogan's birthday, and then third hour, you do Cena Lesnar.
Well, let's look at the track record because I was interested. I was interested to hear your guys' thoughts on this. And if you're in the chat room, let's talk about it in the chat room. I want to talk to you guys. What do you think? What segment do you think we get? I mean, I know Bad News Burke is in here talking about that Hogan comes out in a on a wrecking ball, much like the promotional video that he made not too long ago, making fun of the Miley Cyrus deal. But we got one already saying P-Joe says the opening. I would be remiss to say it's the opener. But every time Hulk Hogan has been on the program since his return, it is the opening segment. Hulk Hogan's music hits. They try to get that initial pop. You know, it's weird to have this going in as the go-home show. I shouldn't say it's weird because go-home shows as of late have not been great. But they haven't built us towards the pay-per-view, at least. I'm at a loss of where this thing fits at all on this program tonight. Opening segment, I could see it because there's a lot, but there's a lot of legends involved. You can hype it up all night and get it to the 10 o'clock segment and get better ratings there. Over the past 3 weeks, building towards SummerSlam, the main event has been the first thing to open the show. The main event players have come out, and then we've gotten really fantastic matches to open Raw, and then the rest of the show has not been able to live up to the opening match and the opening segment.
Can I make a quick suggestion?
Oh, yeah.
Well, and this is just some fantasy-esque booking here, but what if a little guy named Brock Lesnar comes out and disrupts his birthday celebration?
That would be fantastic, in my opinion.
And that's when Cena comes out and makes a save.
That's how you get heat. That's how you get heat on Lesnar. Even more heat on Lesnar. Have him come out and interrupt this birthday segment, which is going to feature the likes of the two-time WWE Hall of Famer, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, who, if you didn't see him at WrestleMania 30, looks incredibly weird now. I would say that you'll probably get, or we know that we're going to get in the mouth of the South Jimmy Hart out there. Baby, look at my hair. It's been the same for years, man. We're going to get Jimmy Hart. We're going to get Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, which is going to get an amazing pop. Just go ahead and expect it. Scott Hall on Monday Night Raw in the first time in 12 years. I'm very excited about that. Let's hope that he is lucid and they're ready to actually do good business and not be ridiculous backstage and on camera. And we're going to get some more surprise guests, whoever that may be.
6.
Everyone, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see Walman. But I'm hearing a lot of people say Sting is going to be one of these people coming out to make his first debut on Raw during this segment. I'm not going to say yes or no. I would say less likely than someone like Roddy Piper or
that
someone
place
like.
Would blow up.
Talk about. But I wouldn't say it's. I'm not going to say yes or no, but I wouldn't say it's out of the question.
I know. I agree.
Because he's going to be on the SummerSlam panel with Hulk Hogan, with these guys. Everybody that's going to be in that ring tonight, just about, is going to be in some way, shape, or form involved at SummerSlam because you've got the NWO doing some panels as well, like with the X guys, the Cliques doing a panel.
And the WWE Network Twitter account today teased Sting and Hogan rivalry, saying relive the rivalry of Sting and Hogan on the WWE Network.
And of course we got some information about WWE 2K15 where the I don't know what's it called, the showcase. The showcase mode is going to feature rivalries between different guys throughout the history of WWE and WCW and ECW, all the promotions that WWE owns licenses for. I wouldn't be surprised we're going to get John Cena versus CM Punk straight off the chute, which people are surprised about. And then we're going to get also Shawn Michaels and Triple H. If you remember, the 2002-2003 feud and all the way to 2004 was absolutely incredible. The grainy surveillance footage of who put Shawn through the windshield and everything, great stuff. That's gonna be awesome in the video game, but they're gonna release more rivalries for this mode on DLC. So downloadable content's gonna be just riddled with different rivalries that you can buy and download. And I would, you can go ahead and bet that the first one they're going to offer or download is going to be Hulk Hogan and Sting, since we're getting both Hollywood Hogan version from '97 and Sting version from '97 as pre-order content. I guarantee you it's going to be the first DLC mode. So I honestly, I don't think it's too far off to say that Sting might show up on Raw tonight. And if he does, I mean, since we were leaked out that the NWO were going to be on there, so we know that's happening. Everybody's excited about that. But it'd be hard to beat that conversation coming out of Raw tonight, because everyone's going to be talking about the fact that Sting was on Monday Night Raw for the first time ever in life. That'll be your highlight of the night, and you have a pay-per-view on Sunday to sell. You know what I'm saying? So I know that they're going to try to push this Sting being involved with WWE. Sting is going to be at the panel. Sting's going to be in LA starting on Friday. They're going to be doing these different cool access, like shoot interviews type panels for you to buy tickets and go sit down and listen to. Sting's going to be involved in that. There's going to be a lot of people involved that Stone Cold Steve Austin's going to be actually moderating. That's going to be cool. Obviously, Ric Flair's not going to be invited, but he's going to be on TV tonight since he's being paid to be on TV but not being used on TV, which is an interesting dichotomy as well. This company's just weird right now, and there's a lot of different things. Alberto Del Rio was released. Let's talk about that before we get anywhere further into what we're actually going to see on Raw. We haven't talked about this yet on any kind of forum. Because we haven't had that, and of course we want to be able to talk about it one-on-one with you guys. I want to know from each of you what your thoughts on this whole situation is. I'm not asking you to tell me whether or not you agree with what was said or what. I just want to know your thoughts on the whole situation. We know that Alberto Del Rio is being advertised for at least an appearance in AAA in Mexico very soon, this weekend actually, with Jeff Jarrett and Vistico, Sin Cara. What are your thoughts? Alberto Del Rio slaps a social media guy, a Twitter guy. He has a name. We've released what that name is. He made what could be deemed a racial slur towards Del Rio or his work ethic or the role of Mexicans in WWE, which is not the first time that racial issues have been brought up in the company. But Del Rio just did something about it and slapped the guy. So what's your thoughts? B-Song, I want to hear from you first.
I think both of them should be fired because they have to do something, because it definitely looks like a black eye for the company. I mean, it's not like Del Rio was present when the guy says this. He says this to another employee. Del Rio hears about it, slaps him. But the most bizarre thing here is like WWE's Twitter account then releasing some statement that's saying, if you're angry at Del Rio, if you're angry at us, don't be angry at us. I mean, you have to think something else went down besides him just slapping this guy, because Triple H is the one who then goes on to retweet the thing. So I think it's a whole mess that we probably won't know what actually happened.
Walter?
Yeah, I agree with B-Song. I think there's more to this story than meets the eye. Just like you mentioned with the whole Twitter account thing, never before do we usually see WWE tweet out instances like this and then, kind of basically poop on a guy like they did with Del Rio, saying, you know what, he's responsible for what he did. He slapped the guy, but now we're hearing all these reports that Del Rio only slapped him because he was saying some sort of stereotypical racist Mexican comment, which, most people would probably want to whack him in the face. Under any circumstances, though, when you're in a work environment, you can't physically assault someone no matter what they say. You have to handle it better. But Del Rio has been saying for months now, we reported this back in February, that he's been looking to get out of the company and he was going to work his final dates until his contract expired. So at the same time, it's a blessing for him because he's wanted to leave anyway, but he may have burned his bridges on the way out. But again, he's completely justified in what he's doing, but he has to take responsibility for his own actions.
It sucks. It was really weird to see the company respond that way. It was, truth be told, not even weird. It was a little unprofessional to see them handle it that way. Normally, that's the kind of thing that warrants a press release. And for a company with as much bad press as WWE has right now, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw it, but today Deadspin did a whole expose on how terrible the wrestling industry is, essentially. And for a company that has that bad publicity, you would think they'd want to handle things in a more professional manner. Both guys are at fault. Del Rio should have been fired, as the other guy should have, as you guys said. It sucks because I enjoyed watching Alberto Del Rio in the ring, but they were not going to be going anywhere with his character anyway, so it doesn't really make a huge difference in terms of on-screen things. It's a weird ending for a weird career, because this is a guy who was pushed to the moon from the second that he came into the main roster, and literally until last October was that same way throughout, and just never got over.
I mean, he held top tier titles, and
he held Money in the Bank, won the Royal Rumble,
the biggest Royal Rumble ever, by the way.
Championship twice, won the World Heavyweight Championship I think 3 times.
At least three times.
I mean, the guy had everything given to him. He never even held a mid-card title.
No.
Nope.
And that's the thing. The guy, well, essentially the World Heavyweight Championship was the mid-card title at that point.
It was still considered a main event spot that he won the Royal Rumble for. So
I understand that, but it was still the mid-card title. One of those things where this is so freaking weird to me. How WWE responded was weird, and the fact that Triple H retweeted it, like you said, B-Song and Walter, it leaves me to believe something else happened. There's something deeper. He beat the crap out of someone, or at least.
And we've heard reports of him doing that kind of thing, or threatening.
He and Drew McIntyre you don't remember them a year ago getting in a brutal fight in a bar?
Right.
Del Rio, he spouted off at some guy in the bar. These guys jumped Del Rio, and McIntyre had to come in and help. I mean, the guy, he's a short-tempered guy. Either way, it's unprofessional on both parts, and both parties should be fired. I completely agree with that. My only thing is what happened. You know, it's one of those things where when you say what happened, that to make WWE respond this way, especially when you're talking about what you're talking about, John, where they need some positive press, not negative press, to respond that way to a guy that has given. I mean, Del Rio's a workhorse. He's out there every single night for 4 years, giving you everything that he has, holding titles, putting guys over, giving you great matches. Worker. I mean, incredible matches. Doing all this great stuff. He's never gotten over with the crowd really well because of honestly, I think it's the disconnect with language barriers and how he verbalizes in English. I think there was a disconnect there. His face run was unsuccessful because of that. He tried to capture a little bit of magic with Daniel Bryan's yes chant and just chanting C. We then saw him kill his announcer. And Ricardo Rodriguez, and then of course move on to being a heel again, and did some great work in the ring and great work I think as a heel, but it was disconnected. My thing is WWE is going to handle it this way with a guy that's busted his rump for 4 years to do the best work that he can do, and was really freaking good when you needed somebody. He was a hand that you could count on to handle it that way, to make those comments. And to fire someone over a slap is bogus. There's no way that's the only piece of the pie that actually exists. That's all that we're getting, but I doubt that's all that exists because I mean CM Punk quit the company as the top guy, and WWE has still yet to comment on his release and on his departure from the company. For Christ's sake, they're still promoting him in the next video game. It's one of those things where, to me, something else happened.
Can I just cut you off for like 1 second?
Yeah.
I'm just reading this breaking story. It's not even wrestling related, but one of my favorite actors when I was growing up a kid, Robin Williams, he's been announced dead. He apparently committed suicide.
Yeah, I saw that, but didn't want to. Did he really?
Robin Williams.
Oh my!
Yeah. I grew up. I mean, Jumanji.
I hate Jumanji, but I love Robin Williams.
That was just the first movie like Robin Williams that came to my head. He was the genie in Aladdin,
Hook.
Unbelievable.
Don't forget, he was Peter Pan in Hook.
My girlfriend just texted me that, and I'm like, I don't believe it. But now I'm going on Twitter, and everyone's talking about it.
Sorry, guys. We love entertainment, not just sports entertainment. So when stuff like this happens, we're going to talk about it.
I'll be right back.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Robin Williams dead at 63, Oscar winner, and comedian Robin Williams died this morning at 63. His publicist won't confirm that it was a suicide, but they did issue a statement. Robin Williams has passed away this morning. He's been battling severe depression. This is a tragic and sudden loss. The family respectfully asked for their privacy as they grieve during this difficult time. He obviously won his Oscar in a supporting role for Good Will Hunting, and he was going to be in Mrs. Doubtfire 2 coming up. They were going to do a sequel to Mrs. Doubtfire, which is a great movie. I didn't want to see a sequel, but they were going to do a sequel. And of course, I guess what will probably be his last film that you can see in the theaters will be Night at the Museum 3. He's going to be Teddy Roosevelt again.
Hold down the fort. I'll be right back, too.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at everybody's going to talk to their...
I get my mic time now.
There you go, B-Song. Yeah, Robin Williams dead. That's insane. Kind of throws a damper on everything.
Wow.
Yeah. Robin Williams, that's insane. I gotta say, probably my favorite Robin Williams role, outside of Mrs. Doubtfire, outside of that movie, would probably either be, and people are going to be surprised by this, but Good Morning Vietnam was a great movie. People don't really know about that one very much. He had some great supporting roles in a ton of different movies, but for me, Hook will always be one of my favorite movies. It's a childhood favorite, with Dustin Hoffman and Robin Williams portraying Peter Pan and Captain Hook. And I'm kind of just speechless at this point reading that.
Insane. I mean, this is a guy who so many films and was known for his quirky sense of humor, and just puts things in perspective for you. And it's just another example of gone too soon, gone way too soon. Wow. Well, trying to lighten. Trying to lighten the mood a little bit. Hulk Hogan is doing a Q&A on Twitter right now, and he was asked if he plans on returning to the ring at WrestleMania 31, who would he face, whatnot. And he basically said, I'm all for it, and he would face either Cena or Rusev.
Ooh.
The funny thing is that we've mentioned a Real American fighting Rusev. I still would say that Kurt Angle has a better chance of getting in on the Rusev bite before Hulk Hogan does. But we've also always teased Hulk Hogan and John Cena. They've always teased that for us. To the people who say that John Cena's new gear is intentionally red and yellow because of Hulk Hogan, get out of here and shut up. There's only so many different variations of colors they can do for the guy who's already done every single variation in color known to man for a T-shirt. Now it's red and yellow. Get over yourself. It has nothing to do with Hulk Hogan. Let me rant for a second. That's
Go
stupid.
for it. All you.
God! The fact that that's been teased forever. The fact that people, I used to make fun of this on Twitter when I did live tweets on Raw. John Cena sometimes wears underwears that has red and yellows on it. Oh my God, he's hinting that he's going to be, the swerve is that he's going to be facing, Hulk Hogan, or Hulk Hogan's going to be tag teaming with him at WrestleMania 30. Come on, man, he's wearing underwear. Who cares what color it is? No one cares. It's not a tease. The fact that his gear is now red and yellow is not a tease for anything. I will say that I'm happy that the WWE is starting to get away from all the neon green and black, because that's everybody's thing. As of this 2014, everybody's thing has been the neon green. The Usos are neon green and black. The new Age Outlaws T-shirt that came out was black with neon green. I mean, everything seemed to be following that trend of let's brand everything neon green and black for this year. But I'm excited that they're trying to move away from that, at least in the form of John Cena not coming out with that stupid towel that's neon green and shoving it in our face. Tonight he'll have a red towel that he's going to pull out and shove in our face. Getting back to talking about Monday Night Raw, we're going to see some, and for those that are watching, Robin Williams passed away this morning. We don't know really what the issue was. That's what we're talking about. Now we're getting back into wrestling talk. I'm going to let my chest hair show like Robin Williams today. Let's. I want to talk about Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. What do you expect to see out of these two going into their big showdown in SummerSlam?
Well, we've seen a lot of brawling from them already. I don't know. I mean, we got this lumberjack stipulation, which I know none of you are fans of.
No,
I'm
sir.
not a fan of it either.
I know the law. I understand the logic.
Yeah.
Like I said on
I get the logic,
Wrestling Rumors Radio, I understand the logic. I'm just not a fan of it.
I don't know. And I'm sure we'll get some gimmicky tease at that, moreover, than anything else, truth be told.
Well, he said that he made it a lumberjack match because he wanted people that the Shield have a history of screwing with around ringside, right, in case Rollins gets thrown out there. But then Ambrose falls under that same category. So why would that logic behind that doesn't make any sense?
I don't know, man.
He's a good guy.
So what? He's willing to throw himself
It's a
out of the
joke.
ring and get beat up by a bunch of people to get his hands on Rollins? If that was the case, why not just do a steel cage match? They must really want to get some legs out of this thing because a lumberjack match is like the worst stipulation you can have. They must have like street fight, Hell in a Cell. I mean, just they're gonna throw everything at these two.
They're gonna get legs out of this. They're gonna have this lumberjack match. I don't know where it's gonna go from here. What we see on Sunday, as far as the match goes, I'm not sure. The logic is obviously to keep them in the ring. You got to think at some point Rollins gets out. Putting a bunch of people at ringside gets them at least some kind of paycheck for this event because they're probably not going to be on the card. I would expect the tag teams that aren't going to be used to be around ringside, such as Slater Gator, such as Diego, who's and El Torito. Hornswoggle might have his. Oh, I just stopped myself from making a very crude comment about his phallus, as he has been asking for nude photos from girls on Twitter. Horny Swoggle would probably be out there. Rybaxel, more than likely, if they're not used in the kickoff match with the tag team champions. Which, we're talking about the fact that there may be a tag team match. I would say that gets made tonight on Raw if that's actually going to happen. They've got to start promoting the kickoff match at least tonight. So we get the finalized card tonight for sure. It might even happen during the kickoff match or the pre-show tonight. We might even get the kickoff match announcement. That's where they've been doing that as of late. But we're going to see this ring surrounded. I would say Kane is probably even going to be one of the lumberjacks as the bald Kane again, and we may even see. I mean, maybe Kane has something to do with it. Gets involved in some way, shape, or form to get us out of this predicament that we're in, where it's a lumberjack match, and we've got to get them to Night of Champions, where maybe the briefcase is on the line. Better match.
Can we also note how after weeks and weeks of build up for Goldust and Stardust chasing the Cosmic Key, they lose on main event in their first match to Slater Gator?
It wasn't their first match. They were on Raw.
Oh, they were.
They won their match.
Yeah, they beat Rybaxel.
Their second match?
This goes back to the fact that they don't think anybody's watching main event, so it's okay for them to lose on main event. They treat main event like a house show until they do the big reveal of a stipulation on a match or something at the end of the show. So I'm not surprised that they actually did that. One of those things where Stardust, Goldust, were building some kind of, people. The funny thing is, every time they did nothing but talk backstage for 3 weeks, actually longer than that, about 6 weeks, and people were popping at the videos when they hit the screen. Got a decent reaction when they came out on Monday Night Raw to a quick, not so great match. I still think Stardust. I think Cody Rhodes has such an incredible moveset that he's going in and out of with the Stardust character that it's insane. It looks like he's finally settled on a finisher. We're gonna get that now. Anybody remember what he called it? Michael Cole said what the finish was actually called. I can't remember what it was.
To Wikipedia we go.
The Celestial.
Cody Rhodes' finisher?
Yeah, no, it's the new one. It's not. He used the new finish as Stardust.
Oh, okay. Because his first one was like Diamond Dust or something. Or literally was a Diamond Dust.
Well, yeah. I can't remember what the
Dark Matter or Diamond Dust.
Yeah. Dark Matter is what he called it. So you got Dark Matter as his finish. Cheesy cartoon labeling on things. But we did learn, getting a news clipping from when Cody Rhodes was 12 years old, that he wanted to use the name the Stardust Kid when he became a professional wrestler. So Stardust is not something that the machine just created and said, "Hey, Cody, you got nothing else to do. Just go be this character like your brother." He's wanted to do this for a while. So there's some interesting news about that. What else is on the card that we need to talk about that we might actually get some segments for tonight? I don't think that there's much that we didn't talk about. AJ and Paige is going to be the same crap we've seen.
We didn't talk about Swagger that much. I can see Hogan being in his corner if they do have to announce something about SummerSlam there.
Could be Rusev being the guy to take him out.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't hate that.
My thing is, if Hogan's out there with Ric Flair, Paul Orndorff, Jimmy Hart, other legends that are going to be surprise guests, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, they're not going to feed the monster Rusev out there to all those legends that would just that could gang up and go down on Rusev. Unless the thing is everybody gets a shot on Rusev, he gets on the outside and just goes crazy.
See, that's the only way I think you can get Hogan on the SummerSlam card, though, is if you have the birthday segment go off, Rusev and Lana come out, start talking down to Hulk Hogan, and then Hogan just gets on the mic and says, "You know what? I'm going to be in Swagger's corner on Sunday." That's all you.
I'm not opposed to that as long as they get all the other legends out of the daggum ring before it happens.
No, they don't even have to go ringside, though. They can just come up to the top of the stage. The segment goes in the ring, Rusev and Lana come out on stage, talk down Hogan, and then Hogan just retaliates and says, "I'll be in Swagger's corner," which is weird for a flag match, but whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What's he going to be doing, holding the daggum flag?
Zebediah.
Hogan gets the flag down from the pole and hands it to Swagger. That's how Swagger wins. So Rusev doesn't really lose.
You get the
he turns heel and becomes Russian.
He pulls the Sergeant Slaughter and goes.
He becomes Russian.
He becomes the turncoat.
Yep.
Oh, gracious. Raw goes live. The kickoff show goes live in 15 minutes. Y'all been watching Wrestling Warm-Up. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight on this Monday night on August 11th. It's Hulk Hogan's birthday. There's going to be a celebration on the show. Obviously, we're going to get the final build towards all these matches. If Lesnar and Cena is not the first thing on the show, then we'll get the video package probably that we saw on Monday Night Raw to take us to a segment between these guys to close the show. If I am booking this Raw to make SummerSlam seem extremely relevant, to make me want to buy it, I am going to book segments tonight that leave me hanging on the edge of my seat between all of these people to get me to the pay-per-view. And for me, I would put Cena Lesnar at dead last. Have them do some great oratory segments back and forth with each other. Heyman, Cena, Lesnar even getting something on there as long as he doesn't say something stupid. Paul will be okay. Doesn't shrill like Marv from freaking Home Alone. Will be all right. But I think that if we get some of that breaks out into a brawl, leaves us clamoring for what's going to happen on Sunday, I'll be excited. The thing is, the last 4 weeks on Monday Night Raw have sucked royally. I think we're going to get $9.99 shoved down our effing throats again tonight, as many times as they possibly can do it. Triple H will likely open the show shoving that number down our throats yet again, which was very entertaining and humorous for the first 10 minutes of the program last week until it got so redundant with JBL, Michael Cole, and Jerry the King Lawler. I'm not looking forward to a show like that if it starts that way. I'm hoping, because just like every other wrestling fan, every Monday I remember that wrestling comes on tonight, and I hope for a good show because it's 3 hours and I want to be entertained. So hopefully when we turn on our TVs and we go to USA Network at 8 p.m., we get some good stuff. We get some entertaining stuff that doesn't leave us wanting to pluck our eyes out for 3 hours, because it's a lot of time to kill for a wrestling show. Parting words, guys. What do you hope? What's one thing that you hope you absolutely see tonight on Raw? B-Song.
Ryback's will add it to the tag team match, of course.
Even if it's a kickoff match, and then you know they're going to lose.
Yes.
Okay.
No, but seriously, I'd love to see just anything about SummerSlam come out of the Hulk Hogan thing, whether it's him like hosting it again or just having some involvement in some shape or form.
Yeah. Walter.
Something memorable to happen between Brock Lesnar and John Cena. That should have been the strongest built match heading into SummerSlam, but it hasn't been. And obviously there's been a lot of outside circumstances, such as Cena working on his movie and then Lesnar not.
But he's there every week, Walter. For 12 years, he's there every single Monday night.
Right. But, yeah, I mean, just for this is supposed to be the biggest match of the year, probably, and it doesn't feel like it. So I want something memorable to come out of it tonight, and just rest in peace, Robin Williams. I'm still kind of caught off guard by that.
Yeah.
How about the fact that WWE hasn't done any promotion for the Paul Heyman DVD? See,
Heyman's going to do it himself.
Tonight would be the night to do it. I want big-time Paul Heyman tonight. I want big-time Heyman, Lesnar, Cena interaction. Get me that. You at least have me something to look forward to with SummerSlam.
Then, other than these things, which I obviously want to see as well, I want to see some strong build towards Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose.
Yes.
Ambrose gave me the absolute most entertaining thing from Raw last week. I was extremely entertained by this guy. I honestly think that he's going to, what I'm seeing right now, he's the bigger star to come out of the Shield so far. You can say that Roman Reigns is the guy that they're going to push as the guy, but Dean Ambrose is already the guy.
And that's how it was supposed to be from the start.
He's already the guy. The guy can talk. The guy has a unique character. The guy's insanely entertaining, and he's also insanely good in the ring. And I will say this about the match between Dean Ambrose, the Beat the Clock Challenge match between Dean Ambrose and Alberto Del Rio this past Monday night, which was a freaking awesome match. Let's talk about the fact that Ambrose, I want to talk about Ambrose. He's so old school when it comes to in-ring stuff. He told a story like a lot of people aren't doing in the ring nowadays. He told a story with how that match progressed. He has his shoulder taped. Okay, his shoulder is injured. He can't get the fact that he went for the dirty deeds twice with his left arm, which is the one that's taped up, and couldn't get the move off because his arm just isn't strong enough. And Del Rio continued to attack the left arm. And when Del Rio finally thought he had it in the bag, Del Rio went for the cross arm breaker. Dean Ambrose spun him around and hit the dirty deeds with the right arm, the different arm, the strong arm, out of nowhere to get the victory. That's how you do in-ring psychology. That's how you tell a freaking story from bell to bell as a wrestler.
Well, I'm looking forward to the rematch tonight.
Oh, wait. No, you're not. We'll see Dean Ambrose versus Heath Slater. We'll see Dean Ambrose versus somebody random, and that's what we're gonna get. We're being told that they may have scrapped R-Truth.
Damien Del Rio.
You know, it could. Dude, what if they trolled Del Rio with Damien Del Rio tonight? That'd be hilarious to me. Damien Del Rio. One of these things where I think that you're gonna get. They talked about maybe they've trashed the whole. Big E, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods thing. I don't believe that. I just think that they weren't used together this week. I think that we might even see them post SummerSlam come back together. We may even see them tonight. They'll definitely be lumberjacks in the lumberjack match. If they're not used in the tag kickoff match, we'll see what happens. The kickoff show goes live in 9 minutes. Thanks for joining us. You can follow Chris Walter, who's already peaced out, at Walter Sports. On Twitter, you can follow Alex B. Song at Glass Mode ALB on Twitter. You can follow John Alba at John Alba SFC, and of course you can follow me here, right here, at Doug O'Mac, and of course you can follow WrestlingRumors.net at WrestleRumors, and do that tonight. Live tweet with me so we can have some fun. I will say, followers and fans, especially ones listening to this show, what keeps me awake during bad Raws for the like we've had for the last 3 weeks. Is live tweeting interaction with you guys. It's always fun. It always keeps me entertained. It always keeps me into the show in some way, shape, or form. Whether we're sarcastically railing on people or just pointing out things that we like and don't like about the program. I thank you for joining us. Make sure you do it again tonight at WrestleRumors, live tweeting Monday Night Raw, coming at you in about 8 minutes with the kickoff show. So we'll catch you on the next one. We'll see you Sunday night, 6 p.m. before SummerSlam kickoff show right here on WrestlingRumors.net. Chat room. We'll try to get some guys in here. We'll just have to see what's going on technical difficulty-wise to see if that can even be a possibility. But we enjoy every bit of you joining us here tonight, and we expect to see you Sunday night, 6 p.m. before SummerSlam gets kicked off at 7:30 p.m. We love you guys. We'll catch you on the next one.